Here it is, it's the final round of the 2024 recent vice president spinner battle, and our showdown is set between George H.W. Bush and his vice president, Dan Quayle. They were able to do what 8 others were not, so they're going to go head to head on the quest to 270 electoral votes. There's a lot of states and a lot of spins in their way, so before we get into it, I know this series is not the most popular, but there are some people that enjoy it. As for what we're going to do next, we'll talk about that at the end. So we're all in suspense. Bush and Quayle have gotten this far. They don't want to give it up so easily. They're going to be fighting for every state. So let's hope it's a great battle. We're going to get into the spins, and as always, we're going to start in Alaska. They have 3 electoral votes. Here's spin number 1. And we've got number 1. That's going to go to Bush. Next, we've got Hawaii. They've got another 4. Can Quayle respond? Nope. That is also going to go to Bush. Now we head up to the northwest, Washington. Let's see if Quayle can put up a 2. He does. It's going to put Quayle in first place. Let's go to Oregon. 8 more votes. Here's the spin, and looks like Quayle is going to also go 2 in a row. Now we've got California. They've got 54. Ton at stake. And Quayle goes 3 straight and has a pretty good cushion now as we head into Nevada. 6 more. Let's see if Bush can respond. And looks like he does. He's going to snag another 6. How about Idaho? They've got 4 more. And the spinner says number 2, Quayle, is going to get those 4. Next, we've got Utah. They've got 6. And that lands on number 2. That's going to go to Quayle. Arizona is next. The Grand Canyon State holds 11 electoral votes. And we're going to give those to number 2, Dan Quayle. So we've got Nevada completely surrounded by Quayle states. Bush is in a hole here early. Let's go to Montana. Let's see if he can chip away at it. And not yet. Quayle going 4 in a row. Let's do Wyoming. 3 electoral votes. And we've got one for George H.W. Bush. Let's go to Colorado. They've got another 10. And there's 2 straight for Bush. Let's see if he can go 3 in New Mexico. 5 votes. That's going to go back to Dan Quayle. Now we go to the Dakotas. We've got North. Only 3 EVs. And those are going to be grabbed by Bush, number 1. How about South Dakota? We've got another 3. Anybody want them? It's going to be Bush. Let's go to Nebraska at large. 2 more votes. And that's going to be number 2, Quayle. Nebraska's first congressional district. Just 1 vote. And look at that. That is right on the line, but the spinner says number 1. So that is going to go to Bush. Next, we've got Nebraska's second congressional district. And that is also going to go to Bush. How about the last one in Nebraska, the third? And we've got Bush claiming all 3 districts, but Quayle takes it at large. Let's do Kansas, the Sunflower State. 6 EVs coming to Bush, number 1. So Bush on a streak here, but he doesn't have a lot to show for it. Let's see what happens on Oklahoma. Lucky 7 in the Sooner State, coming to number 2, Dan Quayle. Now we've got Texas, huge state. Bush got to get back into this thing. He was elected in this state a long time ago. Let's see if the spinner wants to help him out. Here it is. That does get over the line for number 1. That puts Bush right back into this thing. He still trails by more than 30, but it's no longer a landslide. Let's go up to Minnesota. Who wants these 10 electoral votes? It's going to be Quayle. He comes right back. Let's do Iowa. 6. The spinner says number 2. That's going to be Quayle again. Missouri, 10 votes. And that's going to also go to Quayle. So after Quayle loses Texas, he pretty much shakes it right off. Let's go to Arkansas. 6 votes. Number 1, Bush. Next, Louisiana, down at the Gulf. 8 EVs at stake. Coming to number 1, George Bush. Next, Wisconsin, 10 electoral votes. And now we've got Bush going 3 in a row, and he's got another 10, and he's over 100. How about Illinois, 19? And look at that, Bush puts up a four-bagger, and he gets 19, and now he's only down by 15. Let's go to Michigan. They coincidentally have 15 electoral votes. He could tie it up right here. That would be pretty great. Let's see what happens. Here's the spin. And that is over the line number one. Bush snags Michigan. He gets 15, and we're all evened up at 139. So far, this is a fantastic battle, and the next state is Dan Quayle's home state of Indiana. He represented this state in the U.S. Senate. Let's see who's going to break this tie. Here comes the spin. And that is number one, and that is Bush. He's going 6 in a row, and he has his first lead since Hawaii. So right now, Bush exerting some dominance. He's looking to keep Quayle in his place. Let's do Kentucky, though. Let's see what Quayle does in response. Here's 8 more votes. That's going back to George H.W. Bush, still riding this streak. He's up to 7 now. We've got to go to Tennessee, the volunteer state. Here's the spin. Quayle can't do it. Bush with state 8. This is turning into one of the bigger streaks we've seen, but I'm not counting out Quayle just yet. We've got Mississippi, that's next. Can Quayle snap out of it? Yep, that's a 2, and Quayle has his first state since Missouri. Let's go to Alabama. Let's see if Quayle can turn that into some momentum. Not quite. Bush comes back with 9 more. Now we've got Florida, 30 EVs. Quayle looking to erase some of his deficit. Bush looking to step on the gas. Here comes the spin. We've got number 1, Bush. He's going to claim all 30, and he's over 200. So now there is some pressure building on Quayle. Let's see what happens on Georgia. 16 votes here. That's a good chunk. Quayle would love those, and he's got them. 16 more for Quayle. Let's do South Carolina. 9 more. Just on the line for Bush. It's not going to get any closer than that. Let's do North Carolina. 16 more. It looks like those are going to go to Quayle. So we've got to hop up here now to Ohio. 17 votes. And those are coming to Bush. He's going to snag the Buckeye State. Let's do West Virginia. 4 EVs in the Mountain State. And the spinner says Bush is going to get 4 more. Let's jump up to the northeast corner, Maine at large. 2 EVs. Here's the spin. And that is again going to go to Bush. Now we've got Maine's first congressional district. A lone electoral vote is going to come to Bush. Now we've got Maine's second. Here's the spin. And Quayle getting in on Maine with 1 EV. Next door, we've got New Hampshire. 4 EVs. And that's again going to go to Bush, number 1. The next spin is Vermont. They've got 3 votes. Quayle looking for a 2. He gets it. He's going to get 3 more. Next, it's New York, 28 votes. And if Bush puts up a 1, this thing is over. Quayle does not want to go out this early. So this could be match point right here. What does the spinner have to say? Let's find out. 28 votes. And they are going to Dan Quayle, number 2. Quayle, he stays alive for at least a few more spins. And he's also over 200 himself. So it's not going to be that early of a night. We've got to move on to Massachusetts. And there's 11 votes here in the Bay State. But they're coming right back to Bush, number 1. Connecticut is next. Lucky 7. Who's getting them? That's going to be Bush. Next, we've got Rhode Island. 4 votes at stake. That's a 2. That's going to go to Quayle. Next, we've got New Jersey. 14 votes. And we've reached the point where, again, Bush will win if he puts up a 1. So Quayle is on the ropes. Let's see if he can fight it off one more time. Here's the spin. And that's a 1, and that's it. Bush defeats Dan Quayle on New Jersey, and he's clinched his spot as the recent Vice President Spinner Battle champion. Let's finish up the rest of the states. We've got Delaware. Only 3 votes. And Bush is not done yet. He's going to get 3 more. Maryland is next. 10 more. Bush absolutely not letting his guard down. He's piling it on. Let's go to D.C. 3 votes. Is Quayle going to win anything else? Not yet. That's going to go to Bush again. Pennsylvania, 19 votes. Here it is. Again, over the line for Bush. Final spin is Virginia. 13 votes. Is Quayle going to get anything? Yeah, he's going to get Virginia. Those are going to be the final votes. And the grand total here is George H.W. Bush 312, Dan Quayle 226, and this time the final spins were not exciting at all. However, there was a lot of excitement in the first half. Quayle built up a significant lead, but then Bush went on a tear in the Midwest. It was even tied in Michigan at one point, but Bush embarrasses Quayle on his home state of Indiana, and at that point he never gave up the lead. So pretty decent finish. Quayle dominant west of the Mississippi, Bush dominant east of the Mississippi, and this spinner battle is in the books. Congrats to Bush. He did not get upstaged by his running mate, and that wraps up another spinner battle. So these battles don't exactly bring in a ton of views, but I do know a lot of people enjoy them. I enjoy them myself, but it's all about striking the right balance of candidates. These guys are just not as prominent as the presidents at the top of the ticket, although of course Bush actually was president. So if these are going to continue, the plan would be to do a 2024 general election spinner battle, and that might be with the main presidential candidates, including third parties. I know ballot access is different for everybody, but we could do whatever we want in the spinner battle, and that one I'm considering, if you come out on the bottom, you get a strike. Once you get 3 strikes, you'll be eliminated. It might be a little bit better than one and done. So again, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but that wraps everything up here, so let me know in the comments. What did you think about this final round? Did you enjoy the suspense? Were you pulling for Bush? Were you pulling for Quayle? How much do you enjoy these battles, and what do you want to see what happens next? Keep in mind these are not easy to set up, and the goal is going to be to bring in some solid views. So let me know your thoughts down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.